So at the beginning of this video, I thought to myself, how would I introduce myself? And then I realized, bro, I don't even need introduction. A lot of people already know me as the best programmer in Europe and beyond. JavaScript Basics tutorial where I'm actually starting a new playlist where I'll be covering the JavaScript basics, and I'm going to be covering the latest version of JavaScript, of course, and I'm going to basically cover all the cool little concepts you have in JavaScript, like the spread operator, etc. And in this first video, I'm going to talk about JavaScript, what can you do with it, and what kind of developer and what kind of salary you would get for working with JavaScript. And also we're going to see where you can run JavaScript, and also we're going to write JavaScript in this video. So make sure you stay until the end, because I'm going to show you how to run JavaScript, and we're going to set up our environment to run JavaScript. Not that you need anything special to run JavaScript, but I'm going to show you now. And first of all, let's see what JavaScript is. So JavaScript is basically a programming language that runs the web. And what does it mean to run the web? What I meant by this is that JavaScript basically runs all these websites on the internet probably have JavaScript inside them. So if you want to start and build any kind of website, you probably need JavaScript. And as you can see, I have opened here the Stack Overflow 2020, so the last server they have. And on the programming languages, on the most popular, you can see that JavaScript is up there at the top as a most used language. And so that's basically why do you need to learn JavaScript, because JavaScript is popular, and if you want to become a web developer, you probably need to learn it. It's not a must, but as you can see, it's up there in the topmost. It's at the #1 spot at the most used programming languages. And the second thing I want to mention is what can you do with JavaScript. So you can, besides developing web applications, you can also write mobile games, and besides making web applications, you can also do or develop mobile apps and games and some other types of applications. So also, if you learn JavaScript, you can become therefore you can become many types of developer. For example, you can become a front-end developer. Also, you need to learn JavaScript first if you want to become a front-end engineer, especially if you want to learn those front-end frameworks that you have heard about probably, like Vue.js, React.js, and Angular. So then you can become a backend developer with JavaScript by learning Node.js, and you can become a full stack developer by learning JavaScript and all of those technologies, plus some more, of course, and become a full stack developer. Just to motivate you even more, the average salary in the USA the average annual salary in the USA is $79,000. Let me now continue and let you learn about more practical things, such as where you can run JavaScript. So JavaScript, as I said, is usually used to develop web applications, and therefore you can run it in the browser. All of this content in this website has some JavaScript. So the first place where you can run JavaScript is in the browser, but the second thing is you can run inside Node.js, that is. And what is Node.js? Node.js is basically a JavaScript runtime build. Basically, it's a JavaScript runtime environment, and just by installing this Node.js runtime environment, you can run Node.js, or you can run JavaScript with Node.js. So these are the main two places where or ways to run JavaScript. And let me just quickly tell you what is Node.js. So Node.js is built just so you can more easily run JavaScript instead of going inside the browser. And it uses the Google Chrome V8 JavaScript engine, so it's super lightweight and blazing fast. So if you want to follow up with me now, you need to install, of course, Node.js, because let me just first of all go inside any sort of web application, then right click inspect element, and then you'll see this pop-up, or I'll do this in Google Chrome. And to run JavaScript, I have opened Google Chrome here, and to run JavaScript in the browser, especially in Google Chrome, you just need to right click, or you can do this if you go to any page. So right click, click inspect, and then you get this what is called Google DevTools. Then you want to go to console, and here you can write JavaScript that will be executed in the browser. So let me type in the first line of JavaScript here, and I want to type in console.log, and then open parentheses, close parentheses, and then inside I want to type in some string like subscribe. And then if I press enter, this will get executed, and I will get print out subscribe to my console. So here we have a very basic, just one line of code JavaScript example. Basically, think of console log as a print in other languages such as Python. You're just printing out something to the console. If you want to print something else, just do another console log, and you can use operations here, like 1 plus 2, and then if you press enter, you get 3. So that is the first way, and this one you're not going to be able to develop applications this way, and that's why we use Node. So if you have Node installed, first of all, make sure you have it installed. Let me clear up my console, and you check out if you have installed Node just by doing node -- version. And as you can see, I have this version 12. So first of all, to run JavaScript, we need to have a JavaScript file. So let me go inside desktop, and here I want to create a console. Now I want to create a JavaScript file, and we create any kind of files with the touch keyword. Then what I want to do is, let's say I'll name my file index, and I press dot, and I edit the extension of .js. So if I press enter, now I have my index.js file created on my desktop. If I do an ls-1, which will list all my files. So here I have my index.js file, and currently it's empty, and you can see the contents of your index file just by doing a cat and the name of your file. And if it doesn't output anything, if the execution of this command doesn't output anything, then it's empty. And we want to change that by doing a nano, and nano basically will open, allows you to open the nano text editor inside terminal. And I'm going to do nano and just the name of the file, so I can open it inside this terminal window. If I press enter, then I get my index.js file opened inside. So I can write some JavaScript here, like console log, the basic console log that we did. Like, let's say we do 5 plus or 5. Can I write 5? 6 plus, let's say 6 plus 5. And by the way, this is not the usual way of how would you write JavaScript. You'll probably use some text editor like Visual Studio Code, because of course it's a lot more easier, but I'm doing this just to show you the very basics, so I don't get just to focus on one thing at a time. I'm going to save this file by doing a Control X, then saying yes to the if you want to save it, and I'm going to press enter because I want the name of my file to be the same. And then now if we do a cat index to see the contents, we have console log 6 plus 5. And now to the main point, where, or I should say, how do we execute this JavaScript? We have it in the file. Now to execute it, you do this node, and you type in node. Remember, node is the runtime environment for JavaScript. So to run this JavaScript file, you just type in node and index.js, the name of the file basically. And if I press enter now, I get 11. This JavaScript code, which is console.log, executes and I get 11. And that's basically the two main ways. Hopefully you learned something to keep going and keep learning JavaScript. So make sure you stay until the end, and catch you guys in the next one.